This is UKPI. How can I help you? Hello, everybody, peoples. Hopefully, everything is running just the way it should be. Hopefully you can hear me, hopefully you can see me, hopefully there's no echo. This is, well, let's say hello to people that are in the chat already. Anyway, let me bring it up. Bloody hell. Yeah, there's Archangels, Lene, love you man, and Dan Hetfield, brilliant. I hope a few other guys are going to jump in when they actually realise that this is live and it's going now. We do have a little group of friends that seem to show their support quite well for both me, Dan Hetfield, Lord Callum, and anyone else out there that's putting out content. Anyway, give me a big fat thumbs up if, well, at least Dan seems to be able to hear me anyway, so let's carry on with what's been going on in the media today in the UK. Do I start off with a clip from the news broadcasters? Yeah, I'm going to start off by showing you basically what's gone off today, and then I'm going to give you some background story to it. So I'll bring down my little white screen. I've got to put on my little projector. It's up and running. And let's have just a little brief look, because it's a ITV production, so it might get taken down straight away. But this is what's been going on today in the UK media.
For 34 years, the murder of Private Investigator Daniel Morgan has remained unsolved, mired in allegations of police corruption and incompetence. Today, an independent panel laid bare the serious failings of the Metropolitan Police. It said put reputation before the truth.
We believe that concealing or denying failings for the sake of an organisation's public image is dishonesty on the part of the organisation for reputational benefit. This constitutes a form of institutional corruption.
The Home Secretary told the Commons she was dismayed by the findings.
The report itself is deeply alarming and finds examples of corrupt behaviour. Corrupt behaviour were not limited to the first investigation, that the Metropolitan Police made a litany of mistakes, and that this irreparably damaged the chances of successful prosecution. This is one of the most devastating episodes in the history of the Metropolitan Police.
Daniel Morgan.
Right. There you go. That was a news statement from today, basically calling the Metropolitan Police corrupt. I'll give you a bit of a background story to how this all happened and who we're talking about. If I can pull him up here. This young fella is Daniel Morgan, a private investigator. On March 10th, 1987, at 9:30 at night, Daniel was found slumped next to his BMW outside the Golden Lion pub in Sydenham, South London. An axe was embedded in his head. One of his suit trouser pockets was ripped, but in the other, an envelope containing £1,100 in cash was untouched. Because Daniel Morgan was a private investigator, it does come with the job that you have multiple threats, and Morgan was threatened many times in the months before he was killed. On the night of his murder, Morgan spent more than an hour with Jonathan Rees in the Golden Lion. Jonathan Rees was his partner, was a private investigator partner. They ran the business together, and according to witnesses, who include 3 BBC sound engineers, it appeared to be a perfectly normal meeting. At 8:55, 5 to 9, Rees waved goodbye to his partner and left the pub. Morgan remained and bought 2 packets of ready salted crisps from the bar. No one knows what happened between then and his body being found. 2 police officers arrived at the scene at 9:52, with others following later. They found Morgan's body in the car park behind the pub. He was clutching the crisp packets in his left hand and his car keys in another. It's the Golden Lion pub, and you can see the car park just at the side. That's an old 80s photo of. So that's what it would have looked like when Daniel Morgan was parked along the back of that pub. Detective Superintendent Douglas Campbell turned up at 12 minutes past 11, and according to one of his junior officers, he ordered a bottle of scotch. Detective Constable Noel Cosgrave said in his witness statement that he approached Campbell at the bar and noticed he was already inebriated. He added, "I suggest he hand the case over to another senior officer, and he didn't take kindly to my words and told me to leave." Witnesses said no one appeared to prevent customers leaving the pub, and the police failed to remove all the glasses and ashtrays for forensic examination, which is beyond me. In this day and age, we would do that straight off the bat, because this would establish if anyone with a criminal record was or had been present on the premises. In fact, none of the officers really knew what they should be doing. There was even a report of a discussion about whether they should draw a chalk mark around the body, because one of the officers said they'd seen that in a film. Now, the two officers, Cosgrave and Leonard Flint, reported seeing Morgan's silver oyster Rolex watch on his wrist as he lay in the car park. But it had disappeared when the body arrived at the morgue and has never been found. Some of Morgan's friends and colleagues said, for instance, that his womanizing might hold the clue to his killing. David Bray, who worked at Morgan's detective agency as a bailiff, recalled how he and Morgan were driving past a house in Sydenham when Morgan remarked that he'd been seeing a woman that lived there. Bray added that the husband had found out about them and had phoned Danny at home and threatened to kill him. Shortly before the murder, Morgan had an affair with a woman who had a violent husband. It's thought that the man suspect, the man suspected Morgan having seen them in a car together. One night he returned home drunk with his brother and tried to attack his wife. An officer reviewing the case in December 1988 noted that the man should not be forgotten. He is a good suspect. Other documents indicate Morgan had a lengthy relationship with a woman whose husband was bugging her bedroom. Morgan had a row with the man, and the woman told police she thought her husband may have had something to do with Daniel Morgan's murder. Now, the nature of his work meant that Morgan encountered a number of undesirable characters, few causing him more anxiety than a gangster he came up against in Malta during a car repossession. Morgan told a friend the job was a bit heavy and had caused him a lot of problems. He said he had said that he'd been threatened, and he said one witness spoke of speculation that the Range Rover that Morgan repossessed may have contained Maltese mafia drugs, and they weren't impressed when the drugs appeared to vanish, and they wanted it back. Another witness said that Morgan received a phone call saying that he should hand over the packets that were in the vehicle, or else. Daniel Morgan told the caller to go to the police, perhaps significantly on the night of the murder, a witness in the Golden Lion reported seeing an Italian-looking man peer through the saloon bar 3 times. As the years passed, Rees remained a key suspect in subsequent inquiries. Let me show you who the suspects were. And the one in the middle is Rees. That's his business partner, and the 2 on either side are brothers who worked closely with Rees. Now, Daniel Morgan's family believe he was murdered because Daniel was about to expose a web of police corruption, allegedly involving Rees. As private investigators, they were very close knit with the police and were known to delve into difficult and undermining things with so said police. On the night of the murder of Daniel, there was 2 police officers in a car parked outside during that night. The police have never come up with any explanation as to what happened to Daniel. They have never come up with any explanation as to why they just gunned for Rees and nobody else. And they also never came up with any kind of explanation as to why the crime scene within the Golden Lion and out with in the car park was contaminated to basically you cannot get any DNA or anything from anywhere. So poor Daniel and his family have to deal with the fact that the Metropolitan Police covered up a horrible, hideous crime, and they will never be able to find out who killed their son, brother, colleague. Gone now. But as we saw from the opening clip on ITV News, the Metropolitan Police are now being called into account. They're now being told, as of today, you're a bunch of corrupt gets and something needs to happen. And I hope 1987, that was a long time ago. but I hope that Daniel Morgan's death wasn't in vain. That this private investigator, whatever he was doing, he didn't deserve an axe in the back of the bloody head. He didn't deserve a cover-up by police. And if anything, hopefully his legacy will go on to clean up, or at least attempt to clean up, our police force as of today, because it needs a whole new reboot, basically. There's a lot of bad eggs in there, and we need to flush them out. Now, if we're going to use body cams or CCTV or anything like that to stop this kind of nonsense by the police, then so be it. But here's a guy, 1987, his legacy's still living on. Private investigator, died on the job at the hands of, I don't know, whoever, but was it dirty cops? I guess we'll never know. But what we've found out today is that yes, the Metropolitan Police Force were corrupt back then and are corrupt now, because they're still trying to cover all the wrongdoings. Anyway, here's to one of my own, private investigator, Daniel John Morgan. And I hope this has sort of opened your eyes a little bit. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to head over, I'm going to see if anyone's actually still in and talking. Dan's still here, I think. There's not many in. Ark, Dan. Love you guys. Thank you very much for turning in, and hopefully a bunch of other people will join in later, but I won't be alive. I'll be gone. I'm in the ether. I'm not going to go live again every freaking 2 minutes, you know what I mean? So, love you, Ark. Love you, Dan. See you later, guys. And I hope to hell you enjoyed a little bit of backstory to a very, very relevant case of today. See you guys later. Till the next time. Take care.